I don't know if you know, but all of my videos come with a slight bit of anxiety beforehand. I have to gather my thoughts, all of my notes, all of my arguments and counter-arguments, and have a conflict with myself, decide where I stand, think about something rare, put it in a statement, write about it, channel about it, and then think about all the people who are going to disagree. Keep the possibility of them being right in my head without hating myself, and come up with a flow that is authentic. So yesterday, I was very inspired. I had this suffering concept in my mind because Lewis recommended me a book. I'm reading 3 books simultaneously now. I don't give a fuck about a book that's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. So I didn't give a fuck about reading it. So I played the audiobook. And I played like an hour and a half out of 5 hours and a half. And I was like, whoa, videos are going to be made on this. This was supposed to be recorded yesterday. I set everything up. And as I hit record, my dad started mowing the lawn. I patiently waited. I hit record again. And my microphone died. And I was like, oh, let me play more of that book. I'm not ready. I give a fuck too much. This is paint because I painted yesterday. It's pink, actually. Matches my t-shirt. Focus. It's not one of those videos that you're used to seeing. Everything is going to be hard, so choose your hard. Essentially, yeah. You know what I hate the most? When I'm having a conversation with someone and they're like, you're not right. This is the statement I'm going to enlighten you with. And they say something that is like the underlying point of this whole, like, bro, this is literally what we're talking about. How is this bringing anything new to the conversation? Like, you're literally saying something so stupidly obvious. So I just listen carefully and I agree. Yeah, of course, choose your heart. Like, what are you talking about? Duh. But how to suffer in this hard properly is the art that's going to help you achieve your dream life. What's more interesting, it's going to help you understand why you want that dream life. What is actually what you want? Why do I have this feeling in me to want this specific thing? Is what I want what I actually want? Oh, you know what's an interesting pattern? Just clicked in my brain. When the destination is nice and the journey is difficult, you are in love with the destination and you hate the journey. Imbalanced, not the right approach. When the destination is trash, but the journey is somewhat pleasant, it's like scratching a mosquito bite. What you receive from the act of scratching is like you're not, just don't go there. Don't go there. The destination is trash. But the process, like you just gotta do it, you know? That's when you're in love with the process too much. But once you hit the destination, you're like, oh, I actually didn't want that. I actually did not want that. It works with limerence. In this case, you know, when you like someone and you're like, oh yes, I'm gonna get there. And once you get there, you're like, oh, I didn't like you. I thought I did. You know what I'm saying? And that example with the destination being good and the process being difficult is like the dream. I don't know how to get there. So distant. Feels so right. I don't know how it even feels, but I can feel it somewhere deeply. I can sense it. It's for me. You're getting stoned for deciding and sacrificing and making choices around this idea to get to that goal. And everything is so hard and everything is falling apart and you're losing friends and opportunities are presented to you, then they're taken away from you and everything is so difficult. That's when the journey is not pleasant, but the destination is kind of cool. But the imbalance lies in you being too obsessed with the destination, not paying attention to the journey, where you're not present. You just hate every single day of your life and you're obsessed with it to an unhealthy point. That's why I have videos about like why high achievers are never happy, what is ego, why you're always dissatisfied, nothing is enough for you, you know, all that. Discipline comes with a lot of self-sabotage. Two imbalanced coins of one single concept. You have to pick your suffering, which is still not enough. You have to pick it and suffer properly. Suffer in a balanced and healthy way how it was designed. Because suffering is innate. You were wired to be dissatisfied with everything that you have. You were not wired to be happy here. And I don't want us to sound like one of those holy scripture verses of you are not here to be happy. You were not designed to enjoy this experience. Because you were. And if like you're capable of enjoying this experience. But what I mean is your task, your purpose isn't to be satisfied with everything. No matter how hard you try, you can't make it your purpose. In this part, I'm low-key transcribing a part of that book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, but it's an important statement. Everyone has a dream. When you ask someone what is, like, think about it right now. Just like the first thing that comes to your mind, my dream. Let me judge you for a second. Not you, let me judge for a second. I like judging, that's my issue. I have to. Someone actually asked me on Instagram how to stop judging yourself and others. Bro, I don't know, Google that. Seriously, not there yet. Imagine if someone said, oh, my dream is having a room that's painted in this like beige cream color with brown wooden chairs and to bake pies there. And I'm like, that's your dream? I'm instantly like, that's so like that's little, you can do that tomorrow. Like, like, that's not a dream. That's on your to-do list. That's so doable, it can't be called a dream. What I see as a dream, it has to be like a statement so profound and whimsical, but when I put it into words, actually it sounds like, oh, I want a healthy, happy life with a full family and travel and be free and have kids and be loved and be in love and speak my truth and all that. All the most generic human needs doesn't make me unique at all, but that for some reason sounds like a valid dream to me. That's like, yeah, I can call that my life goal. And when I get there, it feels like I'm not even gonna like get there, you know? Because once I'm in it, there's always going to be something that's gonna be off. Even if the circumstances of that dream environment are exactly how you described, problems are constant in this game. Think about every game that you know. You're probably gonna think of some game that disqualifies my argument, but every game that you can think about has an issue that you need to solve there. The first thing that I'm thinking about is Subway Surfers. So the problem is, the thing you're solving is you're running away from a policeman, right? Collecting coins as you're being chased by a fat guy, and if you're not careful and focused enough, you go to jail. Logical. There's an issue. You're constantly doing something. You're focused on collecting collectibles. Gaining more XP, I guess. I don't remember what the game was about. Basically, not getting killed is the point. Survival mode. Okay, good. In every game, there's also an issue. Unless it's like Minecraft a demo version. I don't even play games. I never played it like a proper game. This is like the most generic stuff I can think about. Is like Minecraft and Subway Surfers. The game wouldn't make any sense if you were just viewing the screen. There was nothing to do. The character needs to be playable. Well, that's another topic. If your character is not playable, I have some news for you. Now that I thought about it, these people are probably not watching this video, or they clicked off at this point. The core realization is, no matter how beautiful you envision your environment to be, which is your act of free will and your responsibility and your, I guess, main priority as a playable character, to envision realities, envision opportunities, envision qualities you want your character to build, and collect collectibles that you enjoy personally. I guess the mini games in the game that you choose to play, the challenges that you pick, is what makes you unique, is what differentiates us. That's what makes us different, you know, because the dream life could be the same. In the same game, there's two people. One wants to be a music producer, another one wants to be a music producer. But the collectibles that they choose, the speed with which they run and chase these coins, the focus and the strategy and the surfers that they surround themselves with will determine whether they're gonna even, you know, come together and work on this together, or they're completely different people with separate challenges that they choose for themselves. They chose different challenges even though the dream was nice. They're not suited for the same amount of problems or the same level of difficulty of the problems. So the problems that we choose determine whether we are compatible. That's what I mean. So that's why, for example, when you're picking a partner, you can't just be thinking in terms of what is our common goal, because that is too easy. Comparing compatibility of your goals is setting the bar too low. Everyone wants the same thing. Everyone wants fulfillment, some sort of freedom, stress-free life, love, feeling seen. We're wired in the same way to kind of want the same things. And we're also wired to pick struggles. But that's where that uniqueness comes from, the ego. You know, it always comes to ego because that's the only thing that differentiates us. If your ego chooses a struggle that doesn't allow you to go that far, because the struggle that you choose is like, I'm gonna sit in and scroll and struggle in my scrolling. Like, the self sabotage is the struggle that you choose. The procrastination is the struggle that you choose. And that other person chooses the struggle of uncertainty, exhaustion, not feeling enough, still showing up, not knowing what the clear goal is. And that's the struggle that they choose, you know? That's two sides of ego, maybe imbalanced, but they're just completely two different approaches. That's what makes us different. Okay. Well, the core thing that I'm trying to say is you can't just stare at the screen. The game, to be playable, has to have problems. The dream without an issue is not a dream. After I came back from Paris, when I was like fasting and exhausted, you know, that part, and I was like ill, I said something on my story and I forgot. It was something about this, like the baseline is effortless. Discipline is for when you're energetically bankrupt. What that means is that, let me think about that. That's too deep for me right now. Let me collect my thoughts. When you're too exhausted, energetically bankrupt, you need discipline in order to realize that the problems are what's needed for the game to be playable. And you need to take steps, disciplined steps, and have a regime to come back to that effortless space of just accepting the problem as a part of the dream, you know? But when you're energetically bankrupt, the baseline becomes a very animal survival, like I just need to survive. That's what makes you animal, not controlling your ego. No discipline is ego. It all ties together so perfectly. And yesterday I discussed with someone that having a consistent morality, a consistent pattern of thinking, a consistent ideology is what makes you different to an animal. Because you are able to control your ego. You are training it. You are taming it. Instead of just always being in an energetically bankrupt space where you can't even apply discipline because you're so exhausted. Your baseline state isn't effortless. Your baseline state requires discipline, but you're not even able to give that to yourself because your moral compass isn't consistent. It's always changing. And everything that's outside of yourself can shape your beliefs super easily. Knowing that you have a place to come back to, a strong something that you can call home within yourself. Like, okay, it's the baseline, shaky, I'm exhausted, energetically bankrupt. We need to come back to the baseline. What do we do? And you have a regime, you have a structure, you have some rules, you have morals, you have values. You know, because you can talk about having morals and values, but when it comes to action, when it comes to the energetically bankrupt space, what do? You choose your difficult. And what's the difficult that you choose? Ends up being the kind of dream that you settle for. And then it creates your reality. So let's move on to the next thing. Let's not judge people's dreams, nor my dreams, because I do have a Kanye West tendency of being narcissistic and thinking that I'm too smart for everyone. I do have those like normal, oh, I really want this, but I just don't want to call it a dream because it's way too easy. Like, I really want a specific car, but I actually don't even want it because I know that it's so attainable that I don't really want to call it a dream because, you know what I'm saying? I just don't want to explain myself too much. And of course, I have a dream house. I have like a vision of my dream house. I have a whole Pinterest based around everything. Like I hope these boards are private. Now, see, this is the judgmental mechanism. I'm judging someone whilst I'm judging myself. Love the combo. So who am I judging? I don't even know who I'm judging. Let me intentionally rephrase every sentence to humble myself. So the house of my dreams is the same house I'm going to be repairing. The relationship of my dreams is the same relationship, the same partner that will be challenging me to grow in ways that will arise in conflict. So the dream that I have is the same circumstance that will make me extremely uncomfortable by default. It's the same the same literal thing, object, concept that will make me super happy, will make me suffer. So the question is not what is your dream? What is your dream pain? Because it instantly makes you low-key love the journey Well, obviously hating it because emotional reactions are like, I don't want to have conflicts with my partner. But now that I'm thinking about it, it would be so nice to be challenged in a conversation. Now, I hope I'm not manifesting anything atrocious right now, unconsciously. God, please, only good things for me. Please. Envision a union so deeply locked in. Describe your dream to me. I can describe my dream to you. I actually can't. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But I also have a very distinct picture of conflict. Because I'm not expecting conflict, but I am. I'm not manifesting difficulty, but I am. Because I automatically know what the scales come with. I'm like, I want this. I'm not like wiring myself or trying to talk myself into enjoying the uncomfortable moments. I genuinely want this to shape me. New follower request. And that's become super automatic for me. Like, I've chosen my win, I've chosen a road of success and greatness. So, whatever challenge that comes with automatically is normalized in my mind. I'm not even trying to run away from it, avoid the work that needs to be done. None of that. Just like so locked in, I know what it comes with. It's just a matter of understanding it, focusing on completing the side quests, completing the growth projects, I guess, to collect more XP. That's how I see it. But for some people, people suffer because they don't have a family. They suffer because they don't have a family. People who have a family suffer because of their family. People who don't have money suffer because they can't afford nothing. People who have so much money, they don't even know what to do with it, suffer because of that money for so many different reasons. So you always pick your kind of level of what you're willing to suffer with, like what you're willing to deal with, like with what you get. A lot of people ask me about modeling, about content creation, about videos, and I always refer to myself, like, because when I'm trying to understand why you're asking me a question, I'm subconsciously trying to see myself asking that question. And I don't see myself asking a successful model, how do I become a successful model? I can't see myself asking a millionaire how to become a millionaire. Work? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, oh my God, I'm judging so hard. I'm not annoyed and I'm not judging you when I see those messages of how do I become a model? How do I go to Fashion Week? Figure that out. That's the process. That's what it takes. You have to want it. Because at some point, when you realize that you have to work for it, you will understand if that's actually something that you want or you don't want it enough to even figure that out, which is good. That's not for you then. Another thing will come into your mind, You have to want it so hard that the difficulty of it, the challenge, the conflict, the discomfort is satisfying. It's like, okay, yeah, I'll deal with that. That's the price that I'm willing to pay. I can afford the pain that it comes with. Good. Even if the strategy isn't clear, that can be a form of pain that you have to deal with. No one's going to give you the instruction to what you have to do. Like, that would be too easy. And it's like I'm gatekeeping. It's just that even if I tell you what to do, it's not going to give you anything. Your attention span is way too concentrated with instructions. Scroll through your TikTok, you don't even remember, but you probably saw 5 tutorials today and 3 ways how to. You know what I'm saying? And you did nothing with it. You don't need my instruction of how I did something. You need to understand what you want and why you want it, and if you want to suffer for it. Okay. Everyone wants the joys and the glamour of being a starving artist. Everyone wants to say, I'm a starving artist. No one understands me. No one sees me. I'm disciplined. Everyone loves the aesthetic of the David Goggins suffering, disciplined, lonely, focused, whatever, go-getter mentality and that whole aesthetic, that whole vibe of it. No one wants lock-ins. It sucks so much. And that's when you understand who you are. That's when when David Goggins quotes run through your mind as you're running, and your reaction isn't, I want to run faster, then you don't actually want it. If it discourages you instead of motivating you and actually making you do it, then this isn't for you. Then it's who you are. It determines who you are. The pain that you're willing to suffer The pain that you decide that you can afford defines your dream, defines who you actually are as a person. Because everyone wants to call themselves a starving artist. A beautiful romantic statement. That's such an elegant way of saying I'm unique. No one wants to actually be that. No one wants to endure the stresses with the joys. The joys are barely there. Like you literally are alone in your room every single day trying to generate joys. Who would want that? I feel like it's almost like we don't even, everything is so predestined, it's crazy. I didn't even choose none of it. Like I did, obviously, I did, but I don't want it. So, like, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like I didn't, but I did, you know? Hope it makes sense. I feel like what's meant for you is almost not your choice. It feels so supernatural that you can't escape from it. You don't even have to convince yourself that you can afford the pain that it comes with, because the pain is so insufferable, and yet you're still there, that fact alone plays as a confirmation for your mind that this is for you. Because who in the right mind would stay for so long with this amount of suffering? It has to be for me. How can I suffer properly? What is the regimen for me to actually endure it? Because suffering comes every day. Every day comes with suffering. Every day is some sort of yearning for wanting something is suffering because you're focusing on the lack of it. It's literally you're focusing on what you don't have. That's the process of wanting it. When you're hungry, you don't have food in your system, so you want something which you don't have. When you want a relationship, you're not just, oh, I want it. This is so beautiful. No, you don't have something, so you're imagining and creating more imagining on this not having something. So how to actually properly endure suffering in whatever form the suffering may come? Just doing it. Just doing it is the proper way to suffer. I love running. I think so much that I'm often not in my body. Thinking involves being somewhere up there. Organically, how the universe works, it balances itself out very well. I need a lot of movement. I need to involve my body in some sort of movement every single day and challenge it and connect it with my mind challenges in order for this whole mechanism to work and for my body, for my being to process this experience well. In your mind, the idea of you suffering something is good. You have history of you suffering that same distance. You have history of you being able to sustain a certain pace. You have history of you remembering how hard it felt during this kilometer and this kilometer, and you know that if you push a little bit harder, it might get easier. You have history to come back to and relate to, but the trick is it stays in your mind. I love metaphors like that because it's like through genuine, pure human experience. You wouldn't have realized this if you didn't act on a certain disciplined regime for a certain amount of time to have these sort of lessons come to you. I had to go through a certain process without any intention of getting these realizations to even get them. What I'm saying is you have this sort of resolved problem and a solution to your suffering in your mind. You're like, yeah, of course I can do this. There's no suffering. There's no challenge in me running a half marathon because I did it before. There's no challenge in me waking up at 5 a.m. and doing the bare minimum, even if I'm very sore, even injured, whatever the excuse is, even if it's raining, even if the temperature is super cold. In your mind, there's no issues. But the thing is, you don't act on it. The mind is wired to sustain life and health and warmth. So now your job as the observer of the mind is to create suffering that you enjoy dealing with. Every single time when I feel like in my run, I can't move my legs anymore, like they're so heavy, like something is weighing me down, like I can't keep the pace, or I feel like, okay, maybe 5K is too much, let's do 3K. That thought always appears in my mind. I'm like, 5K is too much, let's do 3K, or 3K is too much, let's just do 2. Every time I think that, it's because, some sort of external circumstance, some sort of physical pain or a contraction or a mind tweak is holding me back. What I always keep in my mind is something that David Goggins said. It doesn't matter how fast you run, as long as you keep running. You can almost like walk. He ran some extreme crazy numbers of kilometers. I don't even I don't even want to, I don't remember. I have to reread that book for the third time. But he kept like, you just keep running, just keep running. And something unlocks in your mind. You're like, yo, I was supposed to stop and I'm somehow still moving. I probably can do that. And you just start speeding up out of nowhere. You have no clue how much potential your mind holds. We just have to daily choose the discomfort and be intentional in creating this discomfort. And make it something that we enjoy, even if we don't initially enjoy it. Make the dream proportional to what we can afford. Not just say that you dream about something and actually not be genuine about wanting to suffer for it, because it's like, why is it dream here? Why are you even saying that? Don't be a hypocrite. Be real with yourself and understand your suffering. Don't neglect your suffering, because whenever you're choosing something, which you're always constantly choosing something, you're saying, yo, I'm so, like, my dream is so cheap. The satisfaction that I actually deeply want, the comfort is so cheap that the only suffering that I can afford right now to fulfill that need is binge watching a movie, binge seeking attention, binge, I don't know, talking to people who are non-playable characters, binge eating, binge drink, whatever overindulgence in something that will give you the same feeling is affording the suffering, because it is the suffering that will fulfill that need, that will make that dream come true. So don't say that your dream is something so achievable. Your dream isn't to eat, because that you can just go and eat. You know? Your dream isn't the car, because you can just go and work for that car. The suffering isn't enough. You can just go and make that money. Create your dream to be something that you know that you can afford suffering for, and go and suffer for it actively by running, even if it's very, very slow. Even if it really, really hurts. Just make yourself enjoy that pain.